Helen, and Helen leading the team there. They're going to be, talking to us about social change and the sexual abuse prevention that wavemakers are actually sharing there. So, Helen, team, over to you. When you see me coming on screen, it means you have 1 minute to go. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, everybody. Such a beautiful group of inspiring women and men from around the world presenting today all day. It's been wonderful to be with you. I'm very excited to share with the group the first time the really big passion we have in Cyprus to move on this topic of awareness, re-education, and emotional well-being in our children, because we've decided in Cyprus to put our efforts into becoming wave makers that will make some partial or grand, depending how we go, difference in the way we look at violence, abuse, and sexual violation. And this is really something that was introduced many years ago to me as a psychologist. Obviously, I volunteered in the beginning of my career with Rape Crisis Center, a really amazing place in South Africa, Cape Town. Many of you might know it already. They lobbied actually for the problem of re-victimizing rape survivors by having to tell their stories to male officers or policemen at the front desk of a police station. And they managed to actually pass new laws that required the legal and justice system to provide female counsel or female representation and support from the justice system when women were telling their stories about sexual violation. This was very instrumental in my career as a psychologist, because I started to realize that there's complexity to the way that we deal with trauma that many people miss, and people simplify a lot of really serious situations in society because we just don't know how to manage them really well. And Rape Crisis was really working pretty hard to adjust some of the thinking around how to be more careful around trauma and sexual violation, especially when we deal with women telling their story about it. So that was a fundamental moment in my life. I remember I spent 3 years volunteering before I studied psychology even, and it was so instrumental for me that I decided in my career I would make a very conscious effort to do something about sexual abuse in my future as a professional and as a personal person. And what's happened in the run-up since then is that obviously I've worked in many, many ways as a therapist with many men and women who tell their stories. And of course, we discovered earlier today with Viola and Sasha the importance of emotional well-being and how important it is to understand the emotional body in psychotherapy. And really, it gets very damaged when we have violation of any kind, abuse or trauma. So we have a responsibility, all of us, and especially here in Cyprus, we've decided now to take that on seriously, to begin to re-educate parents, specifically also children, institutional, educational environments, about trauma, about abuse, and about the impact of violation. And really in that journey, I came across a project called My Body, which is part of the Global Goodwill Foundation. I'll be showing you a short video about it. And this foundation actually endorses this program run by one of the South African women who's pioneered a really powerful way to begin to re-educate children around body safety. And we don't talk about sexual abuse anymore, we talk about body safety, meaning ways to teach children to have accountability, responsibility, to feel that they have their own right to say no, to protect themselves. And this is part of then a 6-song sing-along re-education process where children learn different songs around how not to keep secrets, how to say no, how to actually become aware of their boundaries. And what they found in the program, after teaching over 300,000 children in the United States and around the world, there's over 200 ambassadors right now, is that in fact, this process has helped many communities begin to talk about violation and about abuse. And I welcome all of you, if you're interested, to find out your own country-specific representatives, ambassadors that are working on the project, and get involved if it's something you think you would like to support. If you know others who are interested in this area, it's a very well-founded, well-established project that's running around the world already with 200 representatives, as I said. And we are very proud to be starting it in Cyprus. It's been very tough to do it in Cyprus during lockdowns. We haven't really managed to get into schools in front of big groups of kids. There's a lot of legal, administrative, bureaucratic process around talking about body safety and sexual violation to children. There's a lot of need to protect children's rights to who interacts with them about what topics, so it's delicate. And we still persist and pursue on with our two wonderful wave makers. One couldn't make it today, but the other one's here. It's Helen Argyrou and FWoC, two beautiful women. One is a music educator and the other is a holistic health therapist. And you will hear from Helena herself in a moment, but before we get there, I wanted to just give you the bigger context here of the work in Cyprus, which really began under Women of Truth. And this is how we've created now new wave makers on this topic of sexual abuse prevention and body safety. So if I could share my screen, I'm just going to show you a few pictures of what we've been doing with Women of Truth. And you'll see as I make reference to the work we do here in Cyprus, we actually have various conferences running where we are supporting the professional and personal growth of women. And very much it's my wish to elevate global female leadership to a level where we all learn from the wisdom of women. No longer just women learning from women, women organizations supporting only women, that women are great world leaders and teachers, just as everyone is. So it's really around expanding and developing knowledge, wisdom, and the deeper truth of what we go through as women. We also have ways where we elevate speakers onto stage, both in Europe and onto global platforms. We are very happy and proud to be involved with Female Wave of Change and another 20 partners that I've developed over the years that assist the publicity, the visibility, the platforming, and the paradigm shift thinking that we all need in order to bring more of this woman's wisdom to help heal the planet. And so you can see here, we have a very strong interest in making sure that we are supporting women who feel a deeper calling to be offering their voice to greater social change. And right now, I'm very excited about this new spiritual conference, just to let you know if you're ever interested to take a deeper dive into aligning your personal calling, to elevate your destiny, to work all together as we all are doing already globally, to go deeper into the issues that we're still stuck with as women. Because when we talk about sexual abuse prevention and body safety and re-educating children and educational institutions and adults and parents around what it really takes to bring a child through life safely, we have to visit many different, what I call intergenerational programs, conditionings, teachings that might have been leading us astray as women. We have been victimized, we've been struggling to understand the differences between reality and the myths of female empowerment. We know socially, politically, there's so many things that still need to be moved forward in order for more women to have more power and more impact. And we lobby, we work, we keep devoted, we keep inspiring each other to keep moving forward. So in the light of that, it was becoming very necessary to get deeper into the truth of it. And so this has been the new calling to present a piece of work on what I call the Divine Mother, which is one of the most ancient divine feminine archetypes, that talks really about this very powerful, nurturing feminine principle that's always existed throughout time. And it is a force of nature. It is a yin energy. We say in Greek, yin comes from the word, the derivative root word for woman. Yin aletheia is the original name of Woman of Truth in Greek. And it speaks to this idea that there is a very powerful feminine energy that we need to elevate in the world right now, as we are all doing in Female Wave of Change already. So we're going into some very tough subjects that, interestingly enough, have come out of a lot of work with people in therapy that have been violated, a lot of deep work with women and issues that women still struggle with. So we have topics like the archetype of the Madonna and how it sits in opposition to Magdalena, the pregnant virgin archetype in Jungian psychology. It's a very powerful way to begin to understand the transformational power of a woman, but also the way we get stuck so much in self-abandoning, giving too much, doing too much, being too empathic, going into toxic femininity. So we cover some very tough subjects, like how to heal the wound we have with our mothers. How do we tap into this raw instinctual nature that we have as women? We've been told to behave, to be on our best behavior, to be careful what we say. You know, young women are very confused still about whether they truly can be empowered or whether they still have to get on a next diet and measure up to the competitive voice of Instagram. So there's still a lot of what we call double signals in developing women into powerful beings. And so we visit these subjects in this conference. And Women of Truth then is at the moment devoted into taking a more spiritual stand this year onto this divine feminine leadership idea. And so you can see that the greater context of the work that we're doing is really then to have these bigger conversations about what I have named the divine love in honor of the divine mother. Because I conclude all of it by saying this to you, is that in order for women and men, all of us and children of the future, to be able to truly manage some of these darker realities, to process some of the seriously distorted criminal activity, the violation, the struggle that we have, you know, in many rural communities, in many disadvantaged areas, women are suffering tremendously from so much social and gender injustice. And in order to really navigate through this, we do have to have much more honest conversations as women about how to truly protect ourselves and our children, and what we need to do in order to educate communities about safety and sexual responsibility. And this is a big conversation to be having with men as well. So we're including in our seminars parents of all kinds, educators, and we are then busy now in rolling out the My Body project here in Cyprus. Online, we have some webinars, and then we are hoping to get into the schools very soon. So for those of you that have seen us present before or know us in Cyprus at all, you'll know that Helena used to be a client of mine. She is actually, in fact, a sexual abuse survivor that I've worked with, and we've very consciously decided to work as a team in order to support her great mission to break out from secrecy and to lobby for the unsilencing of sexual abuse trauma. And she is a wave maker on the project. And we will hear from her in a moment about her reasons for being involved and her great passion for speaking out against sexual abuse. And she shares her story many times in many ways. As a speaker, she will present in Cyprus next year in May when we have our retreat, mastermind and conference here, and really exemplifies the great work that women do, and men, to heal trauma of this kind. I see that her video might be glitching at the moment, or she might not be able to share with us. So until she's back on screen, I'm going to present the My Body project, where you can also hear from Chrissy Sykes a little bit more about how the program works and why it's taken so much acclaim around the world, because in fact the Global Goodwill Foundation has decided to support very specific projects that are world global issues. And one of them is indeed this My Body project. The exciting detail for us is that we started to include the drum. So we're using drumming as a way of symbolizing the body of the drum as my body, that I take care of my drum, I take care of my body. And we started including percussion, translating it into Greek, and then being able to present it in Cyprus. Can you all see the screen? Let me just check if we're good to go.
Not yet, Helen.
Here we go. Should work.
Yeah.
Here we go. So we started off with some projects online about the lockdowns and the different kind of issues that young parents were facing, and then we talked about our team.
Some very serious issues that are facing young children under the age of 12. So you see our team is consisting of female youth, who will hear about you, who will also speak to us next, and I am Helen Argyrou. We each have very specialized areas of interest and expertise in the topic that we're dealing with tonight, which is how lockdowns have affected young children. And I'm sure you saw the quote earlier, but if you can go back to the previous slide, I'd like to read that quote to you, where it says that, in fact, children have had very specific repercussions from lockdowns. Children's anxiety is increasing. The social isolation and the concerns about the impact of the lockdown on the education and relationships is of concern. And we're going to be talking about that topic today. So as we move on, hand over to FWoC, who will talk to us a little bit more about the subject. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody. I'm FWoC, and I would like to talk a little bit about the educator's point of view with this whole lockdown and the pandemic. And just for a little while, touch upon a few things that had great impact on us. As an educator, I've worked in countries where there are already in place backup plan. For example, if there's an attack or if there has to be a lockdown in the school, but it was always only for a couple of days, 2-3 days maximum. We would prepare material ahead of time, and the kids wouldn't come to school, but the teachers would go to school, and so on.
So you see that during this time, we've been presenting on many relevant topics due to lockdowns, anxiety that parents were having as we were building up the awareness of the project. And as we continued on, we did a few sample sessions. We can't show those faces of kids without copyright and permission, but we had some drum circles in the parks where we started teaching the songs to kids. And we're going to hear the last few moments now from Helena, who was involved in the project, still remains involved, a key player in it all, and she will share with us also the reason and passion for her involvement. And if you'd like to know anything more about what we do in Cyprus, or you'd like to join us and or lobby for this kind of work in your country, there are many ways to get connected, and we can definitely support that, and we would encourage anyone interested to protect children to reach out to us, and we can put you in touch with Chrissy Sykes and all the founders of the project. And over to you now, Helena. Lovely to hear from you. Your testimonial, your contribution has been invaluable to us. And I'm really grateful that you could make it today to share some of this with us today.
Hi, Helenique. Hello to all the lovely ladies on this fantastic event. Really honored to be here. Myself, Helenique, and FWoC have been working together for over a year now on this amazing My Body, My Drum project in Cyprus. And it holds a very deep meaning for me because as a transformational speaker on domestic violence and sexual abuse, I myself have experienced that as a child and worked through the healing process, which cuts very deep. This occurred in my midlife, the healing process that is. And when I was offered the opportunity to be part of this My Body program, it really called me, especially in Cyprus now after the COVID, sexual abuse doubled. And the statistics and research shows 1 in 3 children are abused by family members here. 1 in 6 women worldwide and 1 in 3 men. So this is a serious topic that's really called deeply to my heart. Being part of the My Body program has helped me understand and learn how to deal with this with children. And I want to inspire and help and assist in whatever way possible, knowing the difficulties I experienced throughout my journey. This program helps the children through a fun, educational way to be able to speak and turn to someone that they can trust, which is extremely important in my opinion. I never had that. It only happened in my midlife. So having had to carry the secret, this deep trauma for so many years, I know the repercussions of dysfunctional relationships, the fear, the doubt, the insecurities, which to me is something that can be prevented, that I want to assist children to prevent and let them feel they have someone to turn to. And this is what's great about the program. With the combination of FWoC and Hellenique with their musical talents and education, combining it in the projects that we have already done, it's been really successful. And it's amazing how music helps to open children in ways that sometimes talking does not. And I found that myself throughout my journey. Music has just been very part of my calling, part of my therapy. It's just been something I always turn to, and I found it soothes me. So one of the songs that's really great, that really mean a lot to me, is Keeping No Secrets, Say No to Secrets, which is a lovely song we teach with the children, we sing with them. There's cartoons available online in over, I think 20 languages now worldwide. And you can find it on YouTube through Chrissy Sykes, the My Body program. And we're combining that here now with the drumming, which is fantastic. And this song itself is helping the children to be able to speak to someone they trust, to share what's happened, and to know that something will be done about it, that their voice is heard, that there's no more silencing. This for me is really important, because the silence is like a cancer that grows, and it affects us, especially as children growing into adolescence and adulthood, in our relationships, within our confidence. With me, it was trusting men. And from that, it's has a terrible side effect. So if we can get to the roots of it at a younger age, we can help create healthier adults in the new society in this day and age, which I see many children are craving for. And if it's not their parents or family they can turn to, their social workers, their educators, and they can have assistance. And these songs actually teach the children to keep telling their story to someone until they get heard, because there's such a need to be heard in this world, in this society nowadays, and especially with children after the COVID. So I'm really grateful and thankful for your time, for giving me this opportunity to come out and share. And I've had the honor to speak on podcasts, on Hellenique's YouTube global event she did last year during COVID, and a few others online. And this is what it's about: beautiful seminars like yourselves that you've created today with the Female Wave of Change, to touch many people's lives worldwide with the gift of technology in a positive way, to create change, which is so needed in this world today. And we all know that it begins with you and me. With the change we create, the healing we offer ourselves is rippled out and radiated all around us worldwide. So through my trauma, I chose to turn that into my triumph and use that now to help assist others on similar paths with domestic violence as well, having experienced that too as a child growing up. So it's about being heard, the voice being heard, no more silencing, and taking our power back, knowing that there's hope. We can move forward with whatever's happened with us, that there is support. We don't have to feel alone. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Hellenique.
Thanks so much, Helena. So inspiring to hear somebody come through their journey of healing and to be a beacon of light for young children now that will need to face very difficult situations like this one. I want to draw your attention finally to a summit that I decided to do mainly because I realized the uncertainty and anxiety of young people is on the increase after lockdowns. And we decided then to pull together our experts as well for a Women of Truth for Youth conference. It's a summit, 4 days, where we're showcasing the music of a musical genius called Savi Kabu, but also then tackling some of these bigger issues that are facing young people. If you know any young women or men, young leaders, anyone that's been a bit troubled or needing some inspiration or some hope for the future, I would really encourage you to send them onto our YouTube channel, where we're going to be speaking with some experts from around the world on issues facing the youth. I wanted to get deeper down into the subject of suicide, which is also increasing, but I'm not quite sure that we'll get that far this time, but we will keep continuing this momentum because it's so needed. And so many of us female experts bring a lot of love and reassurance to these young minds, and they really do need this now. So I welcome you to join with us, bring your views, your contribution, and support us. We have just a 2-hour slot every day from the 4th to the 10th of October on my YouTube channel. It's called Our High Intelligence, and it's again under this Women of Truth project. And you can see again how it fits in again with the theme of really re-educating and visiting some tough subjects that we have to be dealing with right now, all around emotional well-being, re-educating our societies about healthy boundaries, about body safety. And we have these incredible female leaders that are helping us pave the way. Thanks so much to Ingun Bo. You're a beacon of light for us all. To Saskia Harkema, Dr. Saskia, who invited me into this beautiful organization, and all of you beautiful, amazing people that keep shining on. I want to thank you for the mirror of your inspiration. Together we stand so united to do great things together, and I can see that happening more and more each time we meet. And I just want to let you know, if you haven't heard today, that I love you and I thank you for all you're doing for us and for the world. Thanks so much, everybody.